expressing my deep disappointment that the 60 Minutes segment aired on December 4th, 2016, which despairingly cast a negative light on the ADA. Anderson Cooper's segment mischaracterized the ADA as an instrument of opportunism for drive-by lawsuits rather than focusing on the role it has played along with the court in protecting the fundamental human and civil rights of more than 55 million Americans with disabilities. My request was for 60 Minutes to revisit the issue with a balanced lens that does not threaten the civil rights of Americans with disabilities. To my knowledge, they did not choose to accept my challenge. On another note, related to the ADA, ACB is working to prevent the passage of the ADA Education and Reform Act, HR 620, by Congress. This bill, if passed, would prohibit civil suits arising out of a failure to provide adequate access to public accommodations for the disabled, unless the plaintiff provides the offending property owners with a written notice specifying the deficiency. Owners would then have 60 days to respond with a written plan for improvement and an additional 120 days to correct the deficiency or at least demonstrate sufficient progress toward a correction. Today, last time I knew, any citizen with a disability denied access in this country can immediately file a complaint with the U.S. Department of Justice. I don't think that's reform, if we have to wait 180 days or more. The passage of HR 620 would mean that individuals with disabilities would be forced to wait 180 days and likely longer to seek resolution of their federally protected civil rights. When you receive a request for your assistance to fight this negative legislation, please do what you can to protect our rights under the ADA. Are you getting hungry? Well, ACB is working to protect your right to buy a good meal. Have you tried ordering from one of those inaccessible tablets on many restaurant tables? How about an inaccessible app? Well, Eatsa, the self-proclaimed restaurant of the future, with New York, Washington, D.C., and California locations, is excluding blind customers. Its high-tech ordering and food pickup process fails to include existing readily available usability features for blind and low vision individuals. ACB, in cooperation with Disability Rights Advocates, DRA, a national nonprofit legal center, has filed a class action federal lawsuit along with individual plaintiff Michael Godino, a New York resident and ACB member, who is legally blind and cannot access Eatsa independently. Eatsa employs no waiters or cashiers. Instead, patrons order their Eatsa meals through a smartphone app or at one of a number of the in-store ordering kiosks. These kiosks consist of Apple iPad devices mounted and framed on a stand. When the food is ready, customer's name appears on a screen, along with a number. The number directs the customer to a cubby where he can retrieve his food. The entire process is silent. Strikingly, the audio jacks and home button required for accessible options are covered by a frame and no tactile features exist on the kiosk. Moreover, Eatsa's phone app is also inaccessible to screen reader technology, and the food pickup process has no audible or tactile cues. While Eatsa's kiosks continue as an option to request assistance from an employee, this feature, like all the other features on the kiosk, is inaccessible to blind customers. Eatsa is a growing national chain and has received considerable attention for revolutionizing automated self-serve technology in the food service industry. ACB is seeking an injunction against Eatsa's further discrimination of persons with disabilities and a comprehensive plan from the chain to provide blind patrons independent access to Eatsa restaurants. In addition, ACB continues its advocacy as part of a group of organizations appealing the dismissal of a case in the Central District Court of California, Robles versus Domino's Pizza LLC, where the plaintiff, an ACB member, claimed he could not successfully order pizza from the Domino's website because it could not be accessed using his screen reader. ACB signed onto an amicus, friend of the court brief, to appeal the dismissal of the case to protect the ability of blind individuals to be able to independently access a business website. It would seem that around every corner, including with dining, we have to continue to be diligent and persistent to ensure ongoing access, even to our next meal. On the legislative front, our thanks to Representatives Carolyn Maloney, Democrat, New York, Gus Bilirakis, Republican, Florida, and Stephen Cohen, Democrat, Tennessee, on reintroduction of the Medicare Demonstration and Coverage of Low Vision Devices Act of 2017, H.R. 2050. This legislation will establish a national demonstration research project tasked with identifying the impact to Medicare and Medicaid recipients who are prescribed low vision devices over a certain threshold cost. As Congress looks for ways to improve healthcare costs, ACB will be urging the House of Representatives to support H.R. 2050 and move toward expanding greater independence for the millions of older Americans with severe vision loss. During the August congressional recess, ACB will be asking all of you to reach out to more members of Congress to obtain more sponsors for this legislation. Help us when the call goes out to make this legislation move one step closer to adoption. I need to comment briefly on the continuing developments surrounding ACB's efforts regarding accessible currency. As background, on October 3rd, 2008, and after more than 6 years of litigation, the district court ordered that the Secretary of the Treasury provide meaningful access to currency no later than the next redesign of each denomination. The district court entered this order in light of the government's stated intention of redesigning each denomination of currency every 7 to 10 years. Under the anticipated 7 to 10 year redesign schedule, the $20 note would have been redesigned between 2010 and 2013, the $50 note between 2011 and 2014, the $10 note between 2013 and 2016, and the $5 note between 2015 and 2018. Instead, the design of these denominations is today exactly as it was when the district court entered its order on October 3rd, 2008. In 2016, the government moved back the target date for the next currency redesign involving the $10 No, from 2020 to 2026. Frustrated by the delays on the part of the government, as well as the lack of any redesigned schedule for any denomination other than the $10 bill, ACB sought an order from the district court requiring that the $10 bill be made accessible by 2020 and all of the remaining denominations be made accessible by 2026. While this order was under consideration in the court, the Secretary of the Treasury advanced to the court that he has already complied with his legal obligation to make currency accessible by furnishing external currency readers to people with visual impairments. While the Secretary indicated that he still intends to proceed with adding a tactile feature in the next major redesign, he is doing so as a matter of policy, as opposed to fulfilling a legal court requirement. The district court denied ACB's motion in January of 2017, and the case is now under appeal at the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit. We are asking the Court of Appeals to do two things. First, to order that the $10 bill be made accessible by 2020 and all of the remaining denominations be made accessible by 2026. Second, and equally, if not more important, we are asking that the Court of Appeals issue a ruling that external currency readers do not provide meaningful access to currency. We expect a decision from the Court of Appeals within the next 6 to 12 months.
Wow.
I want to publicly thank our attorney on this case, Jeffrey Levicki, for his persistence, determination, and dedication to our cause and the latest motion filed. Stay tuned for more news on the court.